Cruz got it on here. Would you rather build a team around Luka or Tatum?
Tatum. Luka. I'm sorry.
I say Luka. Look. Luka could play literally. I wouldn't say 4, so let me not say play more positions. Actually, I think Luka, you could build your team in multiple ways. I think Tatum, he's pretty much like he's kind of like how Katie, where name a team where Tatum doesn't fit on, like hard to do, mission impossible. But talent diff. I'm sorry, talent diff.
The Suns.
Here go be so.
Yeah, okay. I mean, y'all build y'all teams how y'all want to build it. I'm gonna build around Tatum. All right.
That's your guy. I'm not mad.
What's the rationale though?
Primarily because of bias, number one, and number two, outside of bias, I just feel like it's just more reliable to build around either big men or wings. Historically speaking, there's a bigger sample size of that working as opposed to essentially a point guard like Luka. So I understand Luka might be one of the exceptions to that rule because of how crazy he is, but I'm just taking a safer route, man. I'm building around the two-way wing who can score like crazy. So
I don't think that applies concerning this nigga 6'8", 6'7", but I hear it.
I was about to say, does that make
yeah? Because like LeBron in 2020, I wouldn't say. You feel me?
When are we gonna get to the point where we're saying like Luka's not actually a point guard? When are we gonna get to that point?
You can talk about it.
Not today.
Okay. Well, take the guy that you picked, and are you building around that guy, or are you building around this guy?
That's a funny one.
Wembert is close to averaging a 5x5. This is over the last 5 games, though. 24, 11.2, 4.8 assists, 5.6 blocks, 2.8 steals. So are you picking the last guy that you chose, or are you picking this guy right there?
This is obviously
Wembert.
Yeah, this is obviously one of the ones. I was on the pod, and I'm not saying that he's necessarily, I ain't gonna lie. Right now, it's kind of, hey man, I was the guy that was 10 toes with Wemby when people were having the Wemby Chet debates, and Chet's still great. But hey man, it's nice to see Wemby is getting really good really fast. If this is his fucking floor, which everyone is anticipating because it's his rookie season, oh man, we have a conversation. We do. I'm gonna be honest, maybe I am biased here for the first time in this pod. I'm going to slightly say Luka because I just know he's special. I just know it. I literally seen Luka go from an okay 3-point shooter to one of the best considering volume. And he's only bound to get better. He's becoming a better defender already. He's becoming even a more clever passer. So I am very optimistic in taking Luka Doncic, but there's no bad pick here. I'm gonna tell you that. And for anybody that's about to get triggered, if someone says Wemby, there's no bad pick.
I'm picking Wemby. In this context, in this situation, easiest player to play around, easiest player to build around. In terms of between these two, is way easier to build a team or multiple variations of a team with a guy like Wemby compared to someone like Luka. You can convince more people to come and play with a guy like Wemby versus a guy like Luka. And the value you're getting defensively, to me, especially because this is Wemby's floor, gaps Luka's value defensively, and the offensive value that Luka gives you is tremendous. Don't get me wrong. Wemby also gives you tremendous offensive value as well. So I'm going Wemby.
As the only guy who picked Tatum, between Tatum and Wemby, I did say two-way wing or a dominant big, and looks like we have a dominant big, so I'm picking Wemby. Chat.
I'm going with the proven guy. I'm going Wemby because
you mean Luka?
I'm going Luka. I'm going Luka because he's the best player I've ever seen. But more importantly, I need to see what Wemby's a sophomore slump looks like. I need to know what that second year looks like when people are actually saying, you know what, we give a fuck. We're gonna care about this guy. We're gonna game plan for this guy. Not saying that is bad. I'm also not saying that he's having a bad season. He's having a good season, great season.
Phenomenal.
Now, what is Shaq? You can't say that? Is that what you can't say? Phenomenal.
That's one of the words. Can't call these guys phenomenal yet.
Can't say phenomenal. Can't say phenomenal. But I think he's having a great season. I want to know what happens when people game plan for him. Because right now it seems like part of let me reiterate, part of what's going on is we don't give a fuck about game planning for them because it's still the Spurs. We're gonna win regardless. He can have whatever numbers he wants. It's not gonna matter. I don't give a fuck. So I'm still going Luka.
Do you don't think that's going to be the same case next season? Because it looks like they're still going to be asked next season.
I think maybe, but at least they'll have had seen it before. So right now it's like, okay, we've never seen it before. We don't know what it's looking like. He could do whatever he wants. And we're also not trying to figure it out because, they're the Spurs. Next season, it's like, okay, we've seen it. We can put a little bit more effort into game planning, but at the end of the day, it's still the Spurs. So.
See, I think I'm picking Luka out because he's just that damn good, to be honest. Because even conceptually, while I want to talk about, people aren't scheming for Wemby, same time, I think that includes his own fucking team. This nigga still don't have a point guard. he still don't have a point guard. They still out there just zapping, giving him the ball. So I'm telling you, man, ceiling's high on that brother. I think this is an easy pick 'em debate. Again, I don't think there should be any disrespect in this comment section. Now we know we got a toxic one, but I honestly want to know, chat. If y'all could do a poll or whatever, go for it. I actually want to know what the popular vote is. If you had to build around somebody, would it be Wemby or Luka? Because this is very close to me.
So to properly build around Luka, you would probably look for defenders and a lob threat big man.
I look for Wemby.
Okay.
I kind of think Dallas is doing the right thing now, except you just want a taller version of Kyrie Irving, to be honest.
Essentially what I'm trying to figure out is like,
how do you build around Luka?
How do you build around both of these two, ideally speaking, and based off of that, like, which is easier to get out of
building
both
around
pieces?
Luka should be easier, to be honest. I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like with Wemby, you have to have a certain level of an all-star guard. With Luka, if you just have fantastic defense, you can have like more, put it this way, you can have more 80 overalls on a team with Luka than like 80 overalls on a team with Wemby, because you need a point guard that can make the decisions. You need a point guard that can create, put the ball in the basket, run plays with Wemby specifically, all of those things. And you're also going to need the wings that can compensate for the point guard's potential lack of defense. But with Luka, all you ultimately need is guys that can help on the help side defense, and then I'm not phrasing that right, but all you need is guys that can essentially help him on the perimeter, and then you just need like lob threats and athletic bigs. To me, I think what we're seeing right now in Dallas with Gafford and Lively is, hey, bro, I don't need a post touch drop stepper Hall of Fame ass big man. I need a guy that can go up there, swat a shot, and get a board. That's all he needs. So, because he is the creator, but Wemby is depending on a creator, if that makes sense. Not that Wemby can't create, not that Wemby can't create his own shot or for other people, but he's a center. You don't want your center coming down the court having to do that unless you have a motherfucker like Jokic, which I'm sorry, I don't think he'll be ever a playmaker like Jokic. I don't think that's an insult.
I think when it comes to Wemby, I think the exact inverse of Sage. I think it's easier to build around Wemby, because I don't necessarily think you need an all-star level guard to be able to get him the ball. You just need a guard in the game plan that knows get the nigga the ball. You don't even need an extremely good playmaker to play around Wemby. You just need 4 niggas to know throw the nigga the ball. I've seen him turn entry passes to alley-oops from the three-point line multiple times, not one off in the summer league. I'm talking about that shit happened like a damn near last game. Every other game, he turns entry passes into alley-oops. You don't need Rondo playing with him. You really don't need it. That helps. Having a guard like that helps, and that will help. You can, in my opinion, put a nigga like Chris Dunn back there. Put a guard that's gonna play defense and pass.
I don't think he's winning a championship though. I'm talking about winning a championship. I don't think you doing that with a guard like Chris Dunn out there. I think you need someone way better.
One. Y'all are really underrating Chris Dunn's defense, and that's cool.
But
the point is, you don't need a phenomenal playmaker. You can get you a guy that's schemed to be the defensive stopper, a point attack defender, or whatever it is. As long as the game plan is give Wemby the damn ball and they know how to throw an entry pass, you can get that kind of a guy. You don't need an all-star level guy. In terms of wings, 3-and-D wings, a big that can either, if you're going to put Wemby at the 5, get you a 4 that can get you a small ball 4, which is all around the league. Them shits are a dime a dozen in today's NBA. Or you can put Wemby at the 4 how they did earlier this year and get you a rim running big. Go get you and not saying JaVale McGee, but that S of a player. Go get a Derek Lively. Go find you a Derek Lively. Understanding Derek Lively is a good player, but that archetype of big is something definitely you're able to get that. You can draft that. You can go find that. That's easy to come by, but you have multiple things you can do in case of getting a team around Wemby. When it comes to Luka, you need a specific style of team to be able to play with that nigga. Just like for James Harden, any super isocentric or ball-dependent guard, you're going to need a certain type of team around them. You can't really mix and match. It's not easier because there's no variety. You need a guy that's specifically going to do X, Y, and Z, and you need people that can tolerate playing with that play style. Everyone can't play with that. We've seen that in history. Everyone cannot play with a guy that's going to take 30 shots. Some guys just can't do that.
Do you feel as if you believe that only because that's what's been shown?
I mean, yes. I'll have to say yes.
We got him, Chad. We got him.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he's different, buddy. He's different, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you. What I will say,
that's. I mean, I don't know how that got me. But
what I'll also say is my final thing, and it's not a tangent, is I also like taking Luka here because now that I think about it, and I know you could bring up James Harden, I guess, but Luka accomplishes that team that, like, hey, the shortest person on this court is 6'8", ball up. the shortest motherfucker on this court right now is 6'7", 6'8". You try to score the ball, man. And I know people think he's trash. He's not. Just watch him. But hey, defensively, that team be crazy too, depending on who you get. But it's still a conversation. I know someone thinks we're overrating Wemby here. We're talking potential, bro. Potential is through the roof with that nigga.
A couple years ago, I would feel you. Now, I ain't gonna lie. A 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" point guard. Them shits damn near becoming not a dime a dozen, but them shits is sprinkled. It's a solid amount of.
There's more. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Compared to I wouldn't say a dime a dozen because
I wouldn't say a dime a dozen. That's crazy.
You know.
Yeah, that's crazy. A dime a quarter.
I don't know. I just feel like the pieces you would need to build around Wemby, there's more of that, and they're easier to obtain, as opposed to like with Luka. I personally feel like you're gonna need as much of a dominant big as you can, and it's just harder to come across more dominant bigs than like a Jamal Murray, you know what I'm saying, or a Tyrese Maxey to pair with a Wemby. I don't know.
Let's bring it to some college.